The Western Pacific remains active while the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific remain quiet. We have three named storms here. Our main storm over here to the west is Typhoon Dolphin. And over here to the east, this little area of circulation, this is Tropical Storm Chonhom. This area out here is not really a system right now. It's the remnants of Kujira / Mamai / Luis. Those were the Philippine names for the same storm as Kujira. Such a weird system, though. And we even have more signals for more weak storms. And there's another huge signal I want to talk about at the end of today's video. And we'll also do a brief touch-up on the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, because we could also see formation over the next week or two over there. First of all, I do want to touch on the history of Typhoon Dolphin satellite imagery. See over here, by the time it was impacting Okinawa, it still had an eye. It wobbled to the south. It actually got really close to Okinawa. They basically, the northern half of the island, basically got the eye wall of the storm as it wobbled directly to the south. And they would have actually gotten it for a while as well. And you can see it has an actually good eye as it moves away. Not only that, but it keeps gaining an eye back and forth. See, it has one here. It has one here. But what's keeping it weaker is all the dry air that is kind of like encircling the storm. See, it also had a little bit of shear here, undergoing an eye wall replacement cycle. There's some dry air coming in on this side. That's why it's not like staying super intense, but it is still looking really impressive on satellite, surprisingly. This one will move to the west into China. Also, I want to touch on satellite imagery from Chonhom, way out here. This one has been rather sheared most of its life, and has been especially sheared right now. See, all the convection is to the south. Our center of circulation is right in here, right about 33 degrees north, 152 degrees east. That's about where the center is. And all of our convection is to the south right now. In fact, it was actually looking pretty good. Like, we had some convection around the center over here, but it is doing its big western turn, and it's going to turn back to the north after this, and then back to the west over toward Japan. Now let's run out our AIGFS model for these two storms. As we head into later tomorrow and into Monday, it would be 12 hours later than my thing over where I'm located. It's going to move into China probably early, mid on Monday for you guys. And that one will quickly dissipate inland. There's not really a chance of it to like move back out, impact Korea or anything. Then we're going to shift our eyes over here to Chonhom, as this will be our next land impact. And over the next day or so, we're going to still watch this one move to the west, but it is going to slow down, kind of do like a wobble, and then it's going to move west, and it's going to pick up speed as it's kind of getting influenced by this huge monsoon gyre that is setting up. That's why we're having all these named storms right now. And it is going to send this storm directly into Japan. This is kind of an uncommon impact, though we have seen a similar impact not too long ago. So, not only that, but we're going to watch, this going to be remnants of Kujira. It's going to reform into another storm, most likely, probably a weak system, and it's likely to move to the northeast eventually, and we could even see a transition to the west. It is also showing random spin up out here, so that's something to watch. And also, we could be watching an area moving in from the Eastern Pacific. Here's one more model run on the state of the Western Pacific. We have Dolphin going to move into China over the next day or two, and then we're going to focus our eyes over here to Chonhom, as this one will be aiming at Japan. This one even shows a stronger impact, and again, still influenced by this monsoon gyre, and we're going to see another formation with it, potentially moving off to the northeast. And beyond this, we could see a storm from the eastern Pacific or central Pacific, and maybe even another area developing in front of that. It's just going to be incredibly active over here in the western Pacific. One last thing for the western Pacific before we look at other signals for the eastern Pacific, central Pacific area, and maybe a little bit on the Atlantic. We can see a whole bunch of ensembles. See, we have this area out here, we have this one here. These shouldn't impact land, but we could even see another one. And then we're going to shift our eyes to other areas. We're going to be watching the central Pacific storm that could move into the western Pacific as it would make a recurve. But our main new long track storm that I think we will be watching about 2 weeks out, about Wednesday, August 19th, we have a huge signal for something developing to the east of the Northern Mariana Islands and moving generally northwest. So, and it could be intense as well, so that is definitely something I will be watching. Now, I do want to take a brief touch up on our Hawaii threat. Right now, this threat has become a lot less confident on any Hawaii impact. This one has more confidence of it staying to the south, but it could be strong too. So definitely still something to watch for Hawaii. You could see some good waves, and if it gets further north enough, you could see some outer fringe effects from this storm. I would still be watching this one in the back of your mind, for sure. In the Atlantic, we have a couple signals. We have a weakening signal off the east coast of the U.S. I don't know why it has been highlighting this area. It wouldn't impact anyone anyway. And we also have a tropical wave to be watching, but this one should not be a threat to the U.S., though a couple of these ensembles do take it over there somehow. Most of them do curve it well to the north, so that is definitely going to be a hopeful thing with this tropical wave. In fact, today, the NHC has actually highlighted this tropical wave as a 20% chance of developing in the next 7 days. Our 2-day forecast is no chance. Over here in the eastern Pacific, we have 2 weak areas and then this medium chance to the south of Hawaii. Again, this is the one to be worried about. These two, probably no threat to any land. And Hawaii would just be watching this disturbance here. You can see it even closer if we switch over to the central Pacific. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I will probably see you tomorrow, if not Monday, and I will see you again.